Welcome to the Circuit of Success. I'm your host, Brett Gilliland, and today I've got the privilege to interview Kelley James. What's up, Kelley?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, it's good to have you. It's it's been a long time coming for me. Like what I just said to you, I was pleasantly persistent. My first message I wrote down, it was April 8th, 2018. So for our listeners, when you got something you want to get done, you got to stay pleasantly persistent to get it done. Isn't that right?
I've been sending those carrier pigeons back to you, though. I guess they never made it. They had little
That's right.
They must have got lost somewhere in the train transit.
But you've been responding, and you've got a great team, and they're very professional and right on it. So hats off to you, man, for building a good team. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, man, we got a lot of stuff we'll talk about today, and you've got a really cool job and lots of things, lots of people you're impacting. But maybe for those that don't know who Kelley James is, give us a little lay of the land. What's made you the man you are today, and kind of what's the backstory to before all the cool stuff that you get to do now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a musician. I freestyle rap, play guitar, sing. So it's this kind of mashup of different styles, and that's always been the mode for me, was trying to figure out different things that probably don't belong together and put them together. We'll touch on, music and golf, and do a thing called T-Box Freestyle now. So rapping on a T-Box during a PGA Tour event on the Wednesday Pro-Am, probably two things that don't belong together, but finding those connective pieces has always been interesting to me. Yeah. So I went to college here in LA, grew up in San Francisco, and majored in business, actually. Okay. So for me, my parents highly discouraged music, rightfully so. It's a really rough industry and rough path. And it was, I don't want to say it was an accident, because it was always a dream, but the odds of success for me were as close to zero as you could possibly be. Yep. And I just was able to figure out a way how to do it. I graduated college, and I created a fake agent that was me. The guy's name was Michael Galvin. I had my friend's pictures on a new Facebook profile. Like, it was a full,
That's
just
awesome.
fake human.
Yeah.
And I would just call colleges, fraternities, and sororities and book all these shows, private shows at sorority houses, fraternity parties on the weekend. Scaled it up to 170 shows a year, was able to bring in a bunch of brand sponsors. Oakley was my first sponsor, Corona, Vans, Muscle Milk, Honda. You roll down the list, and we were able to just do so many fun things. And so that was the core. And I ended up bringing this fraternity party show to kind of corporate America, if you will. So, these Fortune 500 companies that still wanted to have a good time. I was this bridge between rap music and singer-songwriter, classic rock, all this other stuff that they like. Again, it was that connective thing, two things that don't belong together, rap music and the Fortune 500, at least at that time, a decade ago. So that was the beginning of the music career. Transitioned that over into golf accidentally. I was never really a golf fan at all. Always thought golf wasn't really even a sport, to be honest with you. And then I met a couple golfers accidentally, really just one golfer, this guy, Charlie Hoffman, became a friend. I played his foundation event, and I didn't even really like golf. I just like the dudes that he hung out with that were professional golfers. Yeah. I was into all the action sports and playing shows in pro baseball, football, basketball. Those were guys that I was like, wow, that's really cool. You're an athlete. These golfer guys, they're awesome dudes. And so golf all of a sudden became such a huge part of my life. I fell in love with the game, and I really learned about what the game is. And once I crossed that threshold, it's one of my favorite things to do on planet Earth. And, it's such a huge part of my business.
It's amazing. I love how you say it just kind of happened by accident. But I think if you went back and you look at the grind that Kelley James was on, man, I mean, I bet it didn't happen, like you said, by accident, because you were very purposeful, I'm assuming, every day in your work. Is that right?
Absolutely. And I would say that I guess the accidental part would come from the fact that I grinded every single day, and I was always pushing forward. It's just that I didn't really know where this thing was steering me. I just knew if I worked as hard as I possibly could and pivoted a little bit every single day, just reacting to whatever this little mini market that I was existing in told me and was guiding me, that I could get to somewhere. But I could have never planned doing what I'm doing now. There's just no way. That was it. If my goals were over here, where I'm at right now is over there. And I didn't even know over there existed, which would be and is 10 times better than what my goals were probably starting out.
And I look at the list, man, this is just from your website. You've done private parties here. Looks like for Steph Curry, Tom Brady, Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods, the list could go on and on and on, right? But man, I mean, does it get any bigger than that? And to think that all of a sudden here you are jamming, rapping, playing music, hanging out with the biggest, baddest sports stars in the world.
It's amazing. And, if I rewound back to my 22-year-old self, I'd be absolutely blown away. I mean, there's no question about that. And there's definitely times still where I pinch myself and it's like, wow, this is real.
This is happening.
Yeah, I would also say as I've progressed, the one common thing that I found just about everybody from, again, Fortune 100 CEO to top athlete in the world is everybody's a normal person.
Yep.
And these people, like, they just want to have like real connections. And I was able to figure out how to do that. Again, at 22 years old, I had no idea how to do it. I'd never thought I'd be invited to one of those events, let alone,
Be the
be
main
one,
guy.
yeah, kind of one of the centerpieces
Right.
of an evening or a day. So it's been really special to get that acknowledgement from dudes that I respect so much, and women that just have climbed to the top of the mountain in their own regards, and have acknowledged the fact that what I do doesn't fully suck.
Yeah, no, it does not. And I would consider you in the inner circle of some of these guys, right? I mean, again, follow you on Instagram, and you can see the guys and the JTs, Justin Thomases of the world. I mean, Rory or Ricky Fowler, any of these guys, right? And so what do you learn from them that you can help our listeners that they apply? Yeah, they're normal people, right? They put their pants on the same way you and I do.
Yeah.
But what do you see that's different maybe that they're doing to get them to the level that they've gotten to?
I mean, it's so the things that they do, the great ones, are so basic, and it's almost I'm with you. I'm looking for like this greater truth
Right.
of they
The
have a
secret
secret sauce.
sauce. Yeah.
You're looking for it, and it's so disappointing to know that it does not exist. And it's really just comes down to basic principles, and I hate to come with no little ultimate golden nugget,
No, I
but
get it.
the one thing that these guys all have is an unbelievable otherworldly level of focus and the
Mm.
ability to dial in, and truly the ability to cancel everything else out in life, and there's only one thing that matters. And I have ADD, so a million things matter in
Right.
my life when I wake up in the morning, like that squirrel that just ran by matters. Their ability to literally cut everything out in the world and
Mm.
just dial in on one thing, to the point where, like, some of them won't even answer text messages from friends, like their closest friends that they grew up with. When they're in their zone and they're training, or they're in some kind of crazy tournament setting,
Right.
wouldn't even answer like a simple question text message from a friend. And that's just one small example, but it's really just an insane focus on their craft, and the willingness to block everything else out in life and only focus on one thing. And that level of focus and the ability to sustain it for that amount of time, that's what makes them who they are. And that's not something that's God-given. That's really something that you really have to work at. You can be a certain level and have it, but it's what they work at every day, is that level of focus.
I love about the golf, and it seems like you're around the golf more than any of the other sports, but what I love about it is, and I won't name names of other athletes, but if you're a big time athlete with a big time contract in most sports, let's go to baseball. You can bat 200 and still get paid $20 million a year.
Right.
Right. But you go to golf, man. And again, I'm biased. I'm a golfer. I've played it my whole life. You got to show up every week. And if you want to win the $1,000,000 or the 1,500,000, whatever it is now, right, you got to perform all week long, right? It's not like 2 out of 10 or 3 out of 10 at bats. It's all week long.
Yeah.
And everybody's grinding. And when people joke to me, oh, golf's not a real sport, like you said earlier, right? Maybe not. But at the same time, these guys are in great shape. Most of them are nowadays. And the focus that they have to have and earn their paycheck is like nothing I've ever seen before.
Yeah, again, no teams, nobody to bail you out. You have half of a day that's not great. It's over. That tournament week's over. 72 holes of grind.
Yeah.
And there's no bailouts. It's all real. That's the cool thing about golf, like you mentioned. Golf is the truth. Golf will put you out on blast. Like, you can't hide. There's no hiding. There's no, I'm going to kick the ball out and have somebody else hit the three. There's no, oh yeah, I went 0 for 4, but my team carried me. It doesn't exist. It just does not exist. And that's why golf is a beautiful game.
That's right. Who's going to win? Phil and Tom Brady, or Tiger and Peyton Manning?
God, it's tough. I kind of got to go Tiger, Peyton Manning. But at the same time, like, I think we're going to be surprised. Like, you got 4 of the greatest winners of all time.
Right.
And they know how to win. Those dudes, they know how to dig into places that don't exist for all of the rest of us and find ways to create magic. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
You going to be there?
We're working on trying to get involved in some way. Again, there's an element where the whole thing might not happen. I mean,
Yeah.
I think everybody's day to day on everything right now. So
Yeah.
we've thrown our hat in the ring. Let's put it that way. And if it all works out, it would be awesome. And if it doesn't, maybe they'll do another one and we can be
That's right.
involved with that.
That's right. Well, that's awesome. So, what any good advice when you were on the grind, and even today, right? Because we're still on the grind, right? With new things with this COVID-19, and you got to stay home, you got to adapt. You're doing new things. Any advice you've been given by a coach or a mentor or somebody that said to you, "Hey, Kelley, if you do this, it's going to help you long term."
The best piece of advice that I've really kind of ever gotten, and it's applicable in every situation of your life, and it's applicable in every zone of your life, and again, it's another simple truth that isn't this crazy nugget of wisdom, is do it with what you got. And so many people let other external things or perceptions or views stop them from just going and doing it with what they got. And it comes with another thing. And my second piece of advice that I just love is do the next right thing. So two things: do it with what you got. Everybody can be like, well, I can't play in the NBA because I'm this tall. I can't do this because I don't have this funding. I can't be a musician because I can't sing like Bruno Mars. Well, that's okay. You can do it with what you got. You might not go and, again, be the next Justin Timberlake of the generation like Bruno, but you can do it. Like, this is real. And number two, we all come up against adversity every day. Terrible things happen. Huge losses when you really try to take risk and do something great happens. But the response is do the next right thing, whatever that is. And those two philosophies for me will get anybody doing anything so far down in life.
I love that too. And that's such a choice, right? Because again, I'm not going to play in the NBA. I'm a 6-foot dude that, can kind of play some basketball, but to your point, show up every day, right? That's the advice I give to people. I had a guy, a moving guy was moving some furniture out of one of our buildings. And he just came to me and said, "Hey, what's one piece of advice you can give?" Which I love when young people ask that stuff. And I told him, I said, show up every day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like he was looking for the secret sauce, right? But I think it's true, right? Kelley James showed up every single day, whether you wanted to or not.
Yep.
Fair?
And again, it's like working out. Like, not every day you're going to go to the gym and crush it and feel so good about the workout. There's going to be days where it is so painful and terrible, but you got to show up to the gym. And even if you only do 35% of the workout and you just can't do it because you didn't sleep, you did enough to push the train down the tracks. Right. You did it. And then the question is, what's the next best thing? The next best thing, rest, this, that. You can roll down and make it very simple for yourself. Yeah. And you got to do it with what you got. Okay, so you only have 2 hours of sleep and you haven't eaten. Well, go to the gym and work out. Whatever you have, do it, and do that next best thing. And it might not be life-changing or world-changing, but you're going to move the train down the tracks one more foot.
I love it. So if I followed you around 24 hours a day, and I did that for a month or two, what's something, one or two things that I'm going to see in there that almost without fail, I'm going to see Kelley James do day in and day out?
I mean, I would just say it's a dedication to this craft and job that I've created for myself. There's not a day that goes by where I'm not essentially running everything through that filter. Yep. And for me, there's two things that are important: is this job that provides for my family, and then my family. So you're going to see me throw my heart and soul into this business that I've created, and you're going to see me throw my heart and soul into fatherhood, day in, day out. And those are really my two filters. So you can throw anything in life at me and they go through those two filters. Being on here today, I love talking about creative things. I have this podcast now. Awesome conversations really inspire me. That works really well for my business. And my kids are, at a little play date, birthday party, drive-by thing that we're doing now.
This is exactly what my kids are doing.
Yeah. So the timing works out perfectly. So those are my two filters for life. I think you would see that for me every single day. And it goes back to what we talked about before with like those successful people. What I've seen is they've got one filter, and it is so small and it is so specific, and everything runs through that filter. And the great ones, that's all they do every single day. If all this noise doesn't fit through the filter, it never gets through, and it never gets to them, and it never affects them moving forward.
Yep. So how do you, cause you travel a lot, right? When the world opens back up, you'll be back on the road again, hopefully soon, and doing the things you do. But how do you enjoy the journey, right? Cause you can get home and be tired and crazy, but yet your kids want dad, right? Your wife needs her husband to be engaged. And so anything that you do to stay focused, stay engaged, and enjoy the journey along the way?
It's really difficult to balance both those things. And anybody out there who is really working as hard as they possibly can, number one. Number two, if you're doing that and you're on the road, I mean, that's the double whammy that makes the other side really difficult, the family home life. For me, I just try to do the best that I possibly can about separating the two and being all in on both, which is very hard to do because they're consuming on both sides. But when I get the opportunity to be all in with the family, I'm all in. So give you an example, I'm on the road. Same guy picks me up for the airport every day. You know, I play 100 shows a year, so it's a lot of airport trips. When he picks me up, he knows, like, I got to have a coffee. Like, I got to be ready to walk into that door and be a great dad. And it's not about me being tired. It's not about me, you know, wanting to do a bunch of things. Like, I got to come in with the energy. I got to commit to that. And that feeds into my decisions that I make the night before. Should I have the 14th cocktail? Maybe we should cut off at 13, you know?
Right, exactly.
And, you know, those little bits where I need to sleep. I need to rest on the plane. I need to make sure that I have the energy to be a good dad. So it's just that commitment that, you know, you got to force yourself to do. Otherwise it gets blurry. And then you kind of come in and everything's a little half-assed and it's not, you're not really engaged in either side.
Are you a thinker, strategize, visualize, kind of meditation? Are you one of those guys, or are you just kind of very purposeful just in general?
Yeah, I'm definitely a visual person. So trying to see the picture in my head of everything is sort of my strategy on the planning side. But yeah, I love to plan. I love to have a plan, and I freestyle rap, which is no plan really.
Right.
So I love.
That's what we're gonna do if you're all right with it.
Absolutely. But I love to have as much structure as possible, and then I just love to roll the dice.
So let's have some fun on here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, as long as I know that I had a plan and I worked as hard as I could, once it's game time, you roll the dice and who cares?
Right. I love it. So you got a couple guitars back there. You probably got a ton of guitars back there. So you got your favorite one. Why is that your favorite one, you think, if it's not? If it is?
This one's my favorite one because it was just the easiest one to read.
Exactly. It made it very convenient for you. I'm teaching myself the guitar right now during this quarantine, man. I've wanted to play my entire life. And I got to tell you, I'm going to start a podcast, The Not So Secrets of Success, with Brett Gilliland, on how to play the guitar, because I am terrible.
Guitar's hard, man. Guitar gets really easy though. Once you cross a certain threshold, it gets really, really easy.
I've got a lot of the chords down, but man, I'm a terrible strummer, and I'm left-handed, and I'm trying to play right-handed because that's all I've got. But I'm terrible at strumming a guitar.
Yeah, I mean, they have left-handed guitars. Number one, number two. As long as you get, the hand, whatever hand for you, for me, left hand, playing the chords, that's the first level. The strumming part, for me, the right hand, that's what takes you to that next level. Like I can tell in 2 seconds how good a guitar player is by their right hand. Everybody can, do all the, positions on the guitar, but man, that right hand is really where you get,
where you make your money. That's the money maker.
Exactly. There's 100 tricks to that.
Right.
All right.
So what are we going to do? What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna pause this real quick because I got through my little setup here.
All right, we're back. We're back live with Kelley James. So you've played with the Goo Goo Dolls, Weezer, or man, you played with the real deal people.
It's been amazing. I mean, again, I started off, and the traditional touring model was the dream and the goal, and I've been able to play some unbelievable places. I got one back here right now. OAR was like my favorite band growing up as a kid. Pretty much, a combination of the music that they made, but the fact that they did it all on their own and they did it independently. And it gave me the confidence of like, man, I can go build something on my own, and this is possible. You don't need the giant machine to go and bless you and say you're going to be the next thing. You can really make decisions on your own. So been able to tour with a lot of great bands. This one was a show we did at Red Rocks. And I mean, again, one of those special moments in time that, you'll always remember.
So let's give everybody a little sneak peek. You guide me through this. What information you need from me? You gonna play a song, or you want to create a song here? You gonna do the rapping?
It's way better if we create a song.
All right, let's create one.
Anybody can put Spotify on and listen to whatever they want right now. Okay, so we can do it however you want, but let's do it like this. How about you give me a letter between A and G? Any letter between
A and G?
Yeah, but any letter between A and G.
All right, B.
B is a B chord. I need one more letter between A and G.
G.
This is G. All right, one more letter between A and G. Any letter.
C.
C. All right. All right, this is a G chord right here. You know G.
Oh, yeah.
This is a B. We're gonna make a B minor. And we'll go super music because you're learning how to play guitar. We'll go super musician on you, and we're gonna go C major 7, and then we'll go back to G. All right, what do you want this song to be about? It's gonna be about whatever you want.
Oh man, let's talk about how we're going to inspire individuals with between you and I. We're going to help people achieve a future greater than their past. We're visionaries. We have our family to be thankful for, our health to be thankful for. I can be quiet or I can keep going, whatever you want me to do.
Oh, perfect.
Around that.
I love it. It goes like this. All right, here's your G. There's your B minor. That's your C major 7. Such a beautiful chord. Goes like this. Yeah.
Every single day, gonna get better. Podcasts like this, man, they bring us together. Working real hard, cause that's what we do. Trying to impart knowledge here on you. The viewer, yeah, you know, all you gotta do is believe in everything you want. Yes, you can achieve, and if you try every day and focus on those goals, what's possible, nobody knows. Cause the top of the mountain is all you can dream of. Unstoppable in every way, yeah, you see the future unfolding in your hands. And everybody knows, everybody's gotta understand, no plan comes without hard work and focus though. You can plan all day, but you gotta put rubber to the pavement and go and just do next best thing. Like I said before, that energy you gotta bring. The people that I see, man, they focus intently on everything that they want, and yes, they believe that they are unstoppable. But bad things happen though, but when that happens, they just do the next best thing and go, what can I do to achieve and be better? Doesn't matter about the past, I will get better, and we will do it together. You gotta have a team, enlist everybody around you to believe in your dream. That's what we need to do, and everybody knows that good things happen to the people who work. So get your hard hat on, pack your lunch, and go together, yeah, so you can get you a little slice of that American dream, or any other country we are living in. Let's see, it doesn't need to be United States, it's global, the mentality to make you great. And people think that there's things that hold you back, and there are, yes, we know, we could talk about that, but we're talking about the positive vibes. Let them go, the negative things don't matter when you know that dreams are all about what you see. And if you focus real hard, I promise you could be anything that you want. And yeah, that's true. So good luck, everybody, from us too.
Man,
there you go.
That is awesome. My 12-year-old is out there. He's even clapping. Man, that's incredible. That's incredible. I don't even know what to say after that. I don't even have a talent anywhere close to that, man. That's unbelievable. So you're doing that stuff on the biggest stages with the, I heard Joe Buck say, and which of course hit me because I saw on your website, he's a St. Louis guy. I'm a St. Louis guy. He said he's been to thousands of these things, right? And he's very purposeful. When he sees Kelley James on the lineup, he's there, he's going, because he's never seen a show as incredible as yours, man. So
that's
awesome stuff that you're doing. And I mean, that whole podcast could have been just a song. I mean, such a great message in there. Get your hard hat on, get to work.
There we go.
It's incredible, man. So your podcast called My Biggest Win. Talk to our listeners about that.
Yeah, so my biggest win is just an idea that I had about these seminal moments in life. And, we've had, obviously this great discussion so far. And the real secret to success isn't that secret. And it's kind of disappointing that the little nuggets aren't that groundbreaking. They're very basic, and it comes with repeatability and, just tremendous hard work. Yep. So my biggest win is sort of just an ode to that, where all these moments in life kind of culminate into a crest, and there's a win that happens. And for most successful people, those wins happen and then they go, and you continue to move on and you're climbing up the mountain. Specifically for golfers is where I started. They have these life-changing moments on the PGA Tour, and they never really get the credit that they deserve or the ability to go and relive the moments. They do their media run right after the tournament ends, and then Monday morning comes around, everybody wants to know what Tiger Woods ate for breakfast and who's going to win next week. And these moments in time kind of get lost. So I wanted to highlight that and talk about everything that led up to it, similar to this, like all the ups and downs, how they got through it, and how they climbed the mountain to be a PGA Tour winner. We're doing it with a bunch of different athletes, business people, etc. But it's just it's an exploration of what those unbelievable moments in everybody's life mean and how they got there. And it could be for anybody. It doesn't need to be an athlete. It doesn't need to be a celebrity. Everybody's got those biggest wins in their life, and it's just cool to hear people talk about them and relive them.
It really is. And did that thinking, was this already in the progress, or did the COVID thing and staying at home generate this?
You know, I would say, you know, my whole business, 85% of it is live shows. So clearly, you know, we're shut down right now. So, you know, I have a lot of time to be creative in other ways. And I was going to do a podcast concept next year at some point, probably later in the year was the goal. But, you know, was talking with a very good friend of mine, and, you know, he gave me just great advice about just going and getting this, you know, thing rolling quicker than I had planned, which was late 2021. And, you know, he came up with my biggest win in a conversation that we had. And I thought it was just a great starting point to just go explore how people think, act, and react to situations in their life, and ultimately conquer those meaningful moments. So mybiggestwin.com has all the stuff. We've had unbelievable interviews from guys that I've been blown away. Last week, I had Justin Thomas, Steph Curry, and Kelly Slater on the same interview. I had Jordan Spieth, Jake Owen, and Jared Goff on the same interview. Fowler, Finau, all these great golfers, and I just it's been great to have the conversations.
And now you're slumming it with Brett Gilliland on the Circuit of Success. I mean, aren't you lucky, man?
This is what it's all about.
That's right.
The circuit of success is how you get to my biggest win.
That's right, man.
We should have a whole funnel where you talk through how you get there, and then I just capitalize on the.
Let's do it. Hey, I'll ride your coattails, man. Let's do it. You got to create a foursome to go play golf. Who's in the foursome with you? Pick three guys, gals that they can go play with you.
Guys that I know now, guys that are alive, guys that are that I've never played with. We'll do two questions. So the ones right now, guys you know that you're around in that circle, who's in your foursome and why? I mean, the guy I got to throw in there all day long is my dad. And I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but my dad and I have these epic battles, and I bring him everywhere, and we have a great time. So we're going to make this a fivesome.
Okay,
so perfect. The head pro let us add one more on. They normally don't do it at this course, but they're going to let us play.
It's on quarantine. It's like, you know, there's not a lot of golfers right now.
Exactly. So we got my dad. Okay. So me and my dad, which we'll have a side bet, and it'll keep me dialed in every single shot. And if I'm going to go with guys, that, you know, I would love to compete with, but at the same time, we'll also have 1 or 14 cocktails with.
Okay. I'm in.
Steph Curry's down to have 1 or 14 cocktails, smoke a cigar, have a good time. Steph is going to get that nod. A guy who I've just been having great battles recently with here in LA is Jared Goff. So Goff gets the nod. And then I'm going to we got to throw in a PGA Tour player just to make us all look like idiots.
Right.
So I'm going to you got to throw in a guy who's down to really get after the booze. We're going to go Jordan Spieth or Justin Thomas.
That's to say, it's got to be one of those two.
I'm going to shoot a group text, and whoever responds first, they get the invite.
Let's do it. Just tell them whoever doesn't respond first has to come on the Circuit of Success, right?
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
That's all we got to do. Well, man, this is awesome. Few questions if you still got time, if you're doing good. How do you stay a student of the game? What do you do to stay on top of your craft?
It's a great question. You know, in order to be able to freestyle every single day, let's call it 100 shows last year, you gotta have a knowledge base. So for me, you know, I consume information now in a way that I never have in my life. And it probably started about 8 years ago, where I really realized, like, wow, I really got to have a knowledge base if I'm going to go and put myself out on these stages in really consequential situations where if I look like an idiot, it can be real bad. So I read differently. I watch TV differently. I have two TVs in my office here. I subscribe to a bunch of magazines that might not make sense for my craft, but like
Mm.
from like Us Weekly style to like Wine Spectator to Rob Report, and I just kind of browse them. I don't read them intently, but I just need to kind of amass a certain amount of knowledge going forward and have a pulse on what's happening. Obviously, get all the news that everybody gets in their inbox. I subscribe to all my stuff. Axios is my favorite, kind of news update. So it's really just about ingesting information. And then the last little caveat would be when I have conversations with people, everything that they say matters. And I know that seems crazy, but when I talk to somebody, I could be talking to anyone and I'm going to get some nugget of truth or experience or fact, and it matters. I'm going to have to use that at some point. So it's also been actually pretty pleasant knowing that I can, talk to anyone and have a really good conversation that's going to really impact my life and make me a better musician.
That's awesome. So last question for you, because I think a lot of people are wired this way and some people aren't, but I saw an interview or a video or something, and you just said that your hope is every night that you just get to make somebody happy, right? Some people just honestly just don't give a rip if they make somebody happy, right? But I think it's in my DNA. It's in your DNA. Why is it that you care so much just about making somebody else happy?
I think happiness is really hard to achieve for a lot of people. And I know for me personally, there's times where objectively I'm not happy. And I do my best every day to get to that level. I also know that I get to do what I've always dreamed of doing as my job, and my life is pretty awesome, and I'm highly aware of that. And I don't say it in a boastful way. I say it from a place of like pure gratitude. So I know that I got to do this thing, and yes, I worked hard for it, and yes, we can go into that whole thing. But at the end of the day, I get to achieve and live my dream. And I know that a lot of people don't, for a variety of reasons, and life is hard. And if I can do my part to make one person happy, that's all that matters. And that's my philosophy every time I go on any kind of stage or pick up a guitar for anybody. It's just, it's about one person. If I can make one person smile, I did my job. And if 1,000 people hate it, but one person smiled, that's the only thing that matters. And we talked about it earlier with these Zoom calls that I'm doing, popping in on meetings. People are stuck in their homes, San Francisco, New York. I'm looking at the screen of 30 people stuck in an apartment, been there for 45 days. And my silly little rap that I can do, about what they typed in the chat window, and you can see them smile. That's it. That's the win. And really, that's the only thing that matters, because all the other stuff doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I have this little tool that I use and these little words that I can come up with my head and make people smile. Well, then that's winning. And all the other things that have come because of it, amazing. But that's really the core of the goal.
At the end of the day, you get to lay your head on your pillow at night knowing you accomplished that, and that's a dang good feeling.
Yeah, it really is. And we play a lot of shows that are like bad shows, just in terms of like they're just not really great setup. We play some private shows that like the paychecks are unbelievable, but like you're up there and it's just like, okay, cool, thank you for this and the zeros that are behind this, but this isn't that great. But in my head I'm going, as long as I make one person happy, this whole thing's successful. And every musician knows I do it for $0. That's just what it is, because we love music that much.
You feed off their energy, I take it. Does that help you as well?
That's everything. I mean, that is the show, is their energy. And like I said, though, it doesn't take 10,000 people. Feeding off 10,000 people feels really good, and it is like the crack cocaine of performing. But if you can learn how to channel it in front of one person and realize that one person matters, then you can always do it, and you can always feel like you accomplished something, where the crowd size doesn't make me start to be like, yeah, screw everybody, I'm gonna go play these songs and I don't care about tonight, give me that check. It's never like that.
Well, it's also, you're not going to have repeated sustainable success that you've had, right? You're not going to show up. The PGA Tour is not going to stand for that. Totally. And the people you're around. So where do our listeners find more of Kelley James?
KelleyJames.com is kind of the hub for everything. Instagram's really the place where I spend the most time and energy. It's Kelley James Music, Kelley. And mybiggestwin.com is the podcast. Yeah.
Great follow, man. And it's inspiring what you're doing. And I love your just your dedication to your craft. But like you said, just again, following, I don't know you. We don't know each other, right? We don't hang out. But Man, you got to have the coolest little dude. That guy is chill. His little son. You call him your 80-year-old or whatever. I mean,
my 80-year-old son, he's a special breed of half alien, half old man. I don't know, but he's a funny dude.
Chill. He makes me chill when I see him. I'm like, oh, this makes me feel better. I got 4 boys. We're bouncing off the walls. It's crazy in here. So I need a little bit of that in my life sometimes. But man, Kelley James, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
April 8th, 2018 was the first message. And now, what are we, April 28th, 2020, we were here. You left us with a great message, a great song. And, man, I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.